Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. Today we are doing a reading. We're doing readings about your lonely challenges. We have 5 cards from the Into the Lonely Woods Oracle deck, which is a very beautiful deck. And we're going to be using some handmade runes that I used with the Elder Futhark. I made them with clay. And so look into these, feel into these cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of these, or perhaps more than one of these, has a reading for you about a lonely challenge that you have in your life that may help you. So feel into the cards. I will put the timestamps in the description, and I will see you at the reading. Bye. Hello, card number 1, people. So we're going to start by turning this card and see what our message is from the Into the Lonely Woods Oracle deck. And we have, your inner light will guide you. So for the challenge that you are going through right now, whenever you get just frantic and not knowing which way to turn, this card is letting you know, just basically get yourself a little bit still and let your inner light guide you. You basically will know the right thing to do next. You just need to tap into that. So let's get some clarity from the runes and see what there is that they need to add. Yeah, because right now you're sort of seeking your joy. These are chunky runes. I'm going to lay down the whole reading and then we'll go from there. Okay, so your central issue for this reading pertaining to your lonely challenge that you are dealing with is Vunyo reversed. Vunyo is the rune of joy. It is reversed on the path line and as your central issue. So I'm going to read this a couple ways. First of all, you may not be feeling as happy or contented as you would like. Vunyo is the rune of joy. It is reversed, and the straight up reading is that right now you're dealing with some unhappiness or discontent. But what it's also saying is, in echo of what the card says, is to basically seek joy within. You don't have to wait for outside to bring you that. You have access to that, and that's how you're going to find your light that's going to help guide you forward. What has led up to this is, and again, I'm going to read this a couple ways. We have Manaz reversed. Manaz is the rune of humanity and your part in it. Reversed, it has to do with turning away from that. Now this is the lead up to what has caused this unhappiness. I might see this as feeling like the world has sort of turned against what you believe yourself to be, or where you may feel like there's not anywhere where you feel you really belong yet. So this is why it's so important to find belonging with yourself first, and then you're going to let your light guide you with that. However, it may also be that you have turned, sort of not turned away from the world, but you've basically gently shut the door on the din of the mob and the masses, and just like, okay, you know what, enough of that. And now here you are, you're like, I've got to find my joy. So what is going to help you is, first of all, to use what you have to control what you can. So we have Ingvaz, which is Ing's rune. Ing is another name for Frey, and Frey is the fertility god. I usually read this as active creation. So look around you. You are sort of reaching inward and sort of tapping into what your inner joy is. So once you have a good, you're taking the pulse of that, once you've basically sort of found what you want around you, this is where you're going to start to construct this around you. You're going to start to look around you and go, okay, how can I either embody that around me? How can I either embody that myself or have that around me that brings me joy that I've just sort of tapped into? And just sort of whatever you have, because obviously we can't control everything. You can't, nothing's under our control, but what you can do is use what you have to control what you can control, and that's you and what you have immediately around you, and sort of just to construct around you a reality that is, or even just a place to be where the things around you are reflective and resonant with what is your deep inner joy. So that's what's going to help. What isn't going to help is that you may feel like this is going to be a very long road. You're feeling impatient about your progress. We have Ivaz, which is the rune of the yew tree. This has to do with patience, slow growth, slow development, step by step. You may feel like, you're not patient. You don't feel patient with this process, and you feel like you want this either now or just like, don't waste my time, that kind of thing. Or it may be like maybe you've just had enough, and you don't feel like you even have the energy to go through with all of the work that it's going to take to get this going on. But I mean, you're letting this lead you. Basically, you're starting with, you've tapped into what you want around you, what will bring you joy. And you want to bring that outside you in terms of have it around you instead of just deep inside you. So that it is going to be some work, but it's going to be a joy-led work. It's something that will make you happy to do it. So yes, it is a long road, but what helps is that while you're doing that, it's actually bringing you joy, and this is what you've been looking for all along anyway. So that. What this is going to lead to, what your next step is you're going to start to make agreements, decisions, goals, and plans. We have Gabo, which is the rune of the gift. This has to do with exactly what I just said. It's basically, it's always an exchange. If it's just an individual, it's agreements, decisions, goals, and plans. It might have to do with one-on-one interactions, which is always an exchange, like an equal exchange with somebody. So there may be another person or other persons in your life with whom you're having exchanges that is also going to be your next step. You're going to be either making plans with yourself, setting goals, basically deciding this is what I'm going to do. And it may have to do with this, it may have to do with putting around you the things that keep you happy instead of just like slogging through the slog. But it may also have to do with, somebody that you trust where you're having an exchange with them. And this could be any sort of relationship, friends, family, just somebody that you trust, somebody that you care about and that you trust in order to have these exchanges with. What is going to help you is, and this is why I'm leaning towards that there may also be a one-on-one interaction happening that is helping you, because we have algaes, which is what's going to help you, which is the rune of protection and support. It may just be you setting up good systems of support around you, or just noticing that you have systems of support around you. But it may also be another person or another person's with whom you can have trustful exchanges that will help you feel supported and protected. Even if it's only an individual thing, not like only, but even if it's an individual thing, you will be, what's going to help you with this setting of plans, setting of goals, is the fact that you will become aware of the systems of protection and support around you, or you will be aware of people who protect and support you around you, even if it's something outside of you. So if it was upside down, I would say you are able to stand for yourself, which you are. But this is what's helping you in this step, is an outer support that you maybe didn't notice that you had before. What isn't going to help is you're worried about the journey. We have Raido, which is the journey rune. This is riding, so it's the directed journey. You're worried about it. It's upright in the lower line as what isn't helping. So that's generally about a worry about that thing. So you are worried about your way forward. It does tie in with your impatience with the long road, and and then you're riding on it, and it's like, this is really long. And also just basically, maybe it's like a commitment thing, like here you are making all these plans, and it's like, it feels like the road is stretching on ahead of you. Yes, but you are following your joy and bringing it through and constructing that around you, and that is bringing you joy and energy that maybe you didn't have before. And you've discovered systems of protection and support around you that are helping you, that maybe you didn't realize were there before, or maybe you have just instated them and now they are there. So that's what's going to help you, is realizing that. What this is going to lead you to is that you will be better able to express yourself, which is really, really good, and or manifest. And this sort of ties in with this, where you were bringing things through and around you that were helping you be happier, and you're going to be better at it. So by the end of this, you'll be able to express, Ansu's rune of communication and manifestation. So you'll be better able to express yourself, and by expression, this is also like creation. You'll be able to create things that express you, but it's also communication. So you'll be more readily able to communicate, maybe even communicate your needs, or to just basically communicate from a place of where you're feeling more satisfied. The challenges are, you have those in hand more than before, and you feel able to communicate, but also to manifest, also to keep bringing through the things that you have that are from your deep inner joy, and have those around you where they are around you on the outside, helping to contribute to your protection and support. So that, card number 1, people, is your reading for your lonely challenges. So I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 2, people. So we're going to start by turning the card and see what the story is about your lonely challenge. Find your night self. Okay, so maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe you are very good and very comfortable with your day self. Maybe your daylight persona in the world, among people, at the job, in the world. Maybe you're really comfortable with that and you're good. But as soon as all that goes away, when you are alone, this is your lonely challenge, is, who am I without all of that? What is my persona then, with nobody to see, perhaps? So, I mean, again, even if you are introverted and you are really comfortable with being alone, there may be a question of, who am I? I'm out in the world, I'm doing these things, and then I come home and it's like, I know who I am, but I also wonder who I am. So that's basically what a lot of your lonely challenge is going to be about. I mean, it's something that's always unfolding and unfurling, and you may have a good idea, and then certain times of night you're like, but really, who am I? So let's get some runes down on that. I'm just going to throw down the entire reading, and then we'll go from there. Oh, Ingva's in that spot again. That's very cool. It was in there in the last reading that I did also, which is neat. Dee. Sound of runes. Okay, wow. That's an interesting ending. Okay, so, right. So your central issue for this challenge is, we have Pertho. Pertho's the rune of the lot box. This has to do with surprises and fate. The surprises it has to do with are the things that were always there. They were in the box and they are being revealed. But they were always the case. So that's basically your question, and it does reflect what the card is saying. You're seeing things unfurl for you. You're seeing things be revealed, and it's a surprise to you, and so you're sort of wondering what will be revealed. It's not reversed, so it's not necessarily about you personally, individually, but you're seeing things unfold. It may be about you personally, individually. It may be your fate unwinding in front of you while it opens, and it's like, Leading up to this, you've been journeying so far on this. Your journey has been very directed, but now things are starting to open up and reveal themselves to you that maybe this is what's calling this into question. Again, even if you're very comfortable with who you are, maybe things are opening up for you that are being revealed that are unexpected, but that you realize were always the case, and now you're questioning, like, who am I when there's nobody else? So, lonely challenge. So what first is going to help you is we have Ingvaz. Ingvaz is Ing's rune. Ing is another name for Frey, and Frey is a fertility god. And usually I read this as active creation. What will help you, I think, based on this, among other things, is, get there, like maybe just do some journaling, do some writing, do some creating. And this is going to help show you that, because sometimes you have to create something to get that outside of you so that you can look at it and go, oh, okay, that's also me. So maybe there's that. Also, Ingvaz usually always has a level where it means use what you have to control what you can. So, there's a lot. You want to basically just narrow it down to that. So just work with what you have already. Like, what do I already know? If this is your question, what do you already know? And again, this is something where journaling, maybe recording something, if you're not writing focused, maybe recording something like you just talking, sort of talk it through. But find something relatively creative that you can do that will help you to just let your subconscious tell you these things. What isn't going to help is, and this is so funny because I just had exactly these two in exactly the same spot. And it's for whatever that's worth. What isn't going to help you is we have Ivaz. Ivaz is the rune of the yew tree. This has to do with patience, slow growth, slow development, step by step. You may feel rankled by the amount of time that it may take. You may feel impatient to get this answer. You may feel like all of this is going to take too long. You want the answer now. So that kind of thing. You may feel like, all of that is a problem. You may also feel worried about moving between these inner and outer worlds, basically. This is, yew tree tends to talk about moving between worlds. So there may be that sort of disharmony of, I know who I am when I'm out and about, but as I move between worlds, how do I maintain continuity? I'm not two different people. I'm one person, and let's have it's like, people who think of, things that you go to online, like Second Life or, any sort of thing where you're communicating with people online as not real life. It's like, yes, it is real life. You're dealing with real people. You are a real person dealing with real people, even if you're online, even if you're in a game where you're dealing with other real people. It's still real life. It's all part of the same life. So there's this sense of, you feel like you're moving between worlds when in fact, and that's sort of jarring for you, it's the same world. So ultimately, so again, use what you have to control what you can. Create if you can, even if that's just basically recorded monologue. You just basically go on and just like talk through it, or journal if you can journal. Do something creative that's going to help you to answer some of these questions, especially about what's being revealed. What is going to help you? What your next step is going to be is this is going to help you start to open out to this. You're going to start to open up and get a better view of what's happening with this. This is the torch. It's Konaz, it's the fire, it's the torch. It's something that starts small like an ember and goes into a blaze, but it's basically also where you direct your light. So the more focus you give to this, the more you're going to see. And it's, it sounds obvious, but it's basically that. The more attention you give to this, the more you're going to be aware of. And what's going to help you with that is we have Gabo. Gabo's the rune of the gift. This has to do with agreements, decisions, goals, and plans. It can have to do with one-on-one interaction. So if there is somebody that you love and trust, definitely having a one-on-one conversation with that person will help, even if it's just somebody that you trust. So just basically somebody, if it's a one-on-one interaction that's an exchange, it's always an exchange. And that will help you in this stage where you're starting to open up to this other you, which is the same you, but it's who you are when you're not with everybody else. So, but mostly what I'm seeing this as is agreements, decisions, goals, and plans. So maybe set a plan. Maybe there's a way that you can work with that. Maybe this is shadow work that you're planning on doing, where you're basically working with other aspects of yourself that maybe you keep as hidden as possible, but that's where a lot of your magic lies. So you want to sort of work on integrating that so you can be more whole and be more magical. What isn't going to help is we have the blank rune. So it's basically you're worried about what you don't know. You're worried about what you don't know. And it's just basically fear of the unknown. So again, if you don't know, then just basically have a plan. Just make it so that you have a plan going forward into this, and make your decisions and agreements with yourself that you're going to be doing these things and committing to these things, that you're going to start to bring this through. And again, if you have somebody that you can trust, have those interactions, have those exchanges, because that's going to help you also. What this is all going to lead you to is, and this is really interesting. So this is Thurizaz. It's the rune of the challenge. It's the thorn, the giant, the gateway. It's literally the reason why these readings are lonely challenges, because when I drew a rune to see what today's readings were going to be about, I got Thurizaz. So it's like, okay, so it's about challenges, and we're using the Into the Lonely Woods deck. So it's lonely challenges, things that you are facing alone. Basically, what your outcome is for this is we have Thurizaz reversed. Thurizaz is always a challenge. When it's upright, it's like an open door challenge where you just have to psych yourself up. When it's reversed, it feels like an impossible challenge, but based on your path and what you've been doing for it, it's something you're willing to own. It's really, really neat. It's a really cool ending to this spread, is that by the end of this, you're willing to own that this is something that you're never going to reach the end of. And that's fine. You are fine with this being a lifetime study. The more you study, the more you will know about yourself, the more you'll be able to integrate yourself and use more of yourself in both the day and night time versions of you, which is fantastic. So that is your reading about your lonely challenge. Card number 2, people. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 3, people. So we're going to start by turning this card and seeing what your lonely challenge is about. The Lonesome Gardener. So it looks like there's something that you are working on bringing through, that you're working on nurturing and bringing up into something that can nourish either you or nourish everybody around you, which is great. So there is something that you are working on, and maybe you don't talk about it much. Maybe this is something that you are doing in secret. Whatever it is, whether it's like tending aspects of self, or whether it's actually gardening, or whether it's creating something like a book or sculpture or paintings or anything that you're working on quietly and by yourself. Maybe not quietly if you're doing something musical, but it's something that you are working on, that you're bringing through, that is going to bring nourishment, but you are working on this alone. So let's get some runes down and get some clarification and see what we have to add. Ooh, yeah, definitely something that is to serve a need. So I'm going to lay down the whole reading, and then we're going to go from there. Okay, very nice. Like to see that one at the end. Okay, so your central issue here is we have Nauthiz. Nauthiz is the rune of need. It's always about tending your needs. It's all about tending your needs. It's doing the things that need to be done, basically. It is upright, so it's not an emergency. It's just something that you are doing in order to tend need. Leading up to this, we have Ivaz. So this is basically patience, slow growth, slow development, step by step. You've been working on this for a while. Or maybe you've been leading up to this for a while, you've been working towards it, and now you're working on it. So most basic, maybe you're growing food that you need to eat. But maybe it's also you're developing something, or you're working on something that is going to serve a need. But whatever it is going to be something that is helping you deal with a need. Maybe the gardening itself is a need of yours, that you need this activity that keeps you feeling like nurtured and nourished while you nurture and nourish the thing that you're developing. So what's going to help you with this, and what helps you with this, is we have Isa. Isa is the rune of ice. This has to do with standstill, but it's stillness, but it's the stillness through which clarity comes. And it's the fact that it's not a running around thing. It's a thing where you are, it's the stillness of the thing. It's the quiet of the thing. It's the non-moving element of it that helps you the most. You get this stillness, and then this clarity is coming through. And that is definitely helping you with the need that you have and why you do it. What isn't going to help is what won't help is we have Uruz reversed. Uruz is the rune of the wild ox. This has to do with strength and health, also stubbornness. So there's a sense of, I'm going to read this a few ways. First of all, it's a sense that it's like a worry that this looks weak. It isn't. And there's a worry also that maybe, yeah, I'm basically going to stick with that. It's a worry that this, and maybe this is why you don't talk about it, is that it doesn't look as tough as you would like to appear. It's a worry about that. It also is a worry about surrendering, because one of the reads on Uruz is stubbornness, like dug in stubbornness. And if it's reversed, then it's like releasing that. And you may be worried about releasing that and letting things grow and letting things, basically just surrendering to the way that the garden works and the way that things are going to grow and develop. And if this is like a personal development thing, maybe while you're tending this, there's a certain amount of surrender where you have to allow things to bubble up on their own. If it's something you're creating, you can't just force this. You have to let it happen. Like you have to let it grow on its own and become on its own. You don't want to force these things because then you'll kill it, basically, like any garden. So this might worry you is this lack of control thing. What is helping you, like if this starts to drag you down, bring yourself back up to what is helping you, just this sense of stillness and allowing the clarity to come, because that really, really helps you serve the need that this is serving. So your next step is, we have Ansuz reversed. Now, Ansuz is the rune of communication and manifestation. Reversed, it's inner. So, and it's also silence, and it's also listening. So you are getting much more in touch with your inner communication. B, you are having more silence time, which is very necessary, especially in the modern world. And C, you are listening. You're listening to what you're tending. You're listening. You're paying, like whether this is like actual listening with your ears or just basically paying attention to and listening, however the listening is happening, to what's going on, so that you can be more attentive and more able to get things into the shape they need to be and bring things through. What is going to help you with that? It goes along with this. We have Avaz reversed. Avaz is the rune of the horse, and the horse has to do with movement and spirit. Reversed, it has to do with the fact that you're not running around. You're being still. You're in this place and you're being still. You're just basically, if you're running around, then it's inside. You're letting your spirit carry you inwardly. And if you're galloping around, it's internal. So you've got the clarity coming through from Isa, and then you're allowing yourself to be still. You're allowing yourself to just basically tend this in stillness, in silence, in listening, and letting your spirit do all the running around internally. That's what helps the most. What doesn't help is we have Thurizaz. Thurizaz is the rune of the challenge. It's the thorn, the giant, the gateway. It's the reason we're doing these readings, because that's the rune that came up when I asked what we should be doing the readings about, and it said challenge, so let's do that. So it is a challenge. There is still a challenge element. You can't just, if you just like throw seeds in a garden, some of them may grow. But if you're tending a garden, which this card is saying, this is something that you are tending, it is work. It is something that you're doing. Hopefully it's work that brings you joy as well as serves the need. But it is a challenge. It is something that you do have to do a certain amount of psyching yourself up to do. It is upright, so it's not an impossible challenge, but it is a challenge. And if you start to think of it as a challenge, then that could drag you down. If that starts to drag you down, bring yourself back up to where you have been doing very well, which is with the stillness through which clarity comes, and also with not running around, not wearing yourself out, and just letting your spirit lead you internally through this. It's like your internal spiritual process through this is what's carrying you through all of it. And again, on your main path line, it's already saying what you would be doing, which is listening, being silent, and having that inner communication go on. What this is going to lead you to, and the very exciting thing about this, and why I was so happy to see this at the end of the reading, is we have Vunyo, which is the joy rune. This is going to lead you to great joy. This will lead you to great contentment and happiness. Hooray! Who doesn't want that? Nobody. Everybody wants that, at least a bit. So again, if you continue to tend this is going to be a source of great joy. It already kind of is, and you can kind of tell. Like, it's just that, even if it's just the fact of the stillness of it, the fact of the inner communication and the listening and the goodness of it, this is already helping you. But as you continue to do this, as you continue to lend yourself to this, it is going to become for you, if it hasn't already, a great source of joy in your life. So that, card number 3, people, is your reading about your lonely challenge. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 4, people. So let's start with turning this card over, card number 4, people, and see what your lonely challenge is about. The truth comes softly. So there may be something in your life where you are waiting for an answer. And it's not the kind of answer that you can look up online, and it's not the kind of answer that you can get from somebody else. You have to, it's an answer that you are trying to find from within yourself. And so you are spending some time in solitude and silence just waiting for this to come through. Maybe you're meditating, maybe you're doing journey work, maybe you're journaling, but it's the sort of thing that it can only come to you, and it's going to come to you as you are being silent and as you are being still and in solitude. So let's get some runes down and see what they have to add about this. Ooh, perfect. If I had the set of runes, if I had the Elder Futhark in front of me, and I got this card, that's exactly the rune I would have chosen to represent this card. So that's cool. And finally, ooh, beautiful. So your central issue, card number 4, people, is we have Ansu's reversed. Ansu is the rune of communication and manifestation. Reversed, it has to do with inner communication and also listening and also silence, which is what you are doing, waiting for this truth to come through. Or truths. It could be just, you're just waiting to pick up on the truths that are coming through. You're just basically allowing them to come to you, like this adorable furry beast with the butterfly that has come to it. So what is going to help, what led up to this is we have Uruz. Uruz reversed. Uruz is the rune of the wild ox. This has to do with strength and health, also with stubbornness. Reversed, it has to do with inner strength, inner health, and also a release of stubbornness. So surrender, basically. So you've basically said, the only way I'm going to find this is for it to come to me. So I'm going to open up. I'm going to allow it. I'm not going to force it anymore. I'm just going to basically lift up my hooves and let it come. I'm surrendering myself to the answer, to the truth. The truth comes softly. So let me just turn this a little bit. So that led up to where you are now, where you're basically sitting quietly, you're listening, and you're having that inner communication going on. What is going to help you is we have Manas reversed. Manas is the rune of humanity and your part in it. Reversed, it has to do with basically gently shutting out the din of humanity, all the din, and just focusing on your own melody, your own truths. And that's what's going to help. So not a time to be going out to the club, and not a time to be, having big group dinners and things. I mean, you can do that. But if you're doing the whole truth comes softly thing, give yourself the time to basically turn off social media and turn off news and turn off all the things where there's the din, and just to spend the time in silence, maybe with music, maybe with just meditation, maybe with just like ambient things, but nothing where it's going to be the din at you. Basically just gently shut the door on that and focus on your own heartbeat, your own drummer, all of that. That's what's going to help you the most with this step. What isn't going to help is you are a bit worried about this new beginning, because maybe listening to your own truth, like tuning into that station, is something you haven't really done before. You've just sort of floated along with the din. But now you really want to hear what your melody is. So this is something new, and you're a bit worried about that. So this is Berkana. It's the rune of beginnings and birth. You may be worried about what comes of this, like what your new you will be like. Maybe you're a bit worried about what your truth is ultimately, when it comes to you. Try not to worry about that, because you are who you are, and it's going to be the right thing for you because it's you. So bring yourself, if that starts to drag you down, bring yourself back up to where you're just gently closing the door on the din of humanity and just basically listening. This doesn't have to be like a constant thing. You can take this in sessions, but in terms of when you are focusing on this challenge, to just gently do that and listen and be silent and have that inner communication happening, because you're not going to be able to hear that inner communication if you are allowing the din to fill your entire field of vision and hearing. So that's what's going to help. Your next step is you are really going to be opening up to the unknown. You may even be opening up to your version of the divine, as far as this goes. But basically, it's going to be an untracked stretch of path. It's going to be something you've never done this before. This is something that's going to be really new for you. It's going to be new ground, a blank page. What is going to help you with that is to embrace this challenge. Accept that this may not be a challenge that has an ending. Accept that this may be an impossible challenge, but accept it nonetheless because it's yours. We have Thurizaz reversed. Thurizaz is the rune of the challenge. This has to do with the thorn, the giant, the gateway. When it's upright, it's an open door. When it's not upright, it's basically a very difficult challenge, perhaps even an impossible challenge, but it's in the helping line. So this is basically what's going to help you, is embracing this challenge as yours. Like Carolyn Casey says, my beautiful, dangerous assignment. And this is basically, you are embracing this, and that's what's going to help you the most, especially when you're going through this new ground that you've never been on before. What isn't going to help you is you may be worried about happiness. You may be worried, yes, but will I be happy? Will I be happy with this? Will I be contented? And these are just worries, because this is a very positive rune in the negative spot. This is Vunyo. It's the rune of joy. When a very positive rune ends up in the negative spot, usually it's a worry about that thing. You are going to be worried about that a little bit, but if that starts to be dragging you down, bring yourself back up to where you have embraced this challenge, and this is something that is very interesting to you and is keeping you compelled and fascinated as you move through this open new ground. That's what's going to help you the most. And what this is going to lead you to ultimately is, we have Raitho reversed. I'm going to read this a couple ways. Raithos is journey rune. This has to do with a directed journey. So this is not just you jump on a train and it has a specific track and it gets you somewhere. This is riding. So it's you riding, you're directing this journey. You're directing the horse. So it's reversed on the path line. So number one, at this point, you may be wrapping up this chapter. You may have learned quite a lot on this, and you're ready to wrap up this chapter so that you can move forward into the next one. You may also, at this point, be taking your journey inward. You may start to really journey inward. You may be taking your forward journey inward, and you may be making this into a journey, an inner journey that you are going to perpetually be taking, which is a really good thing, because you will be in communication with your inner voice. You'll be open to it. You will be happy to embrace your challenges and move through untracked lands. And yeah, so you're taking this as you move forward on your outer journey, this is also going on. Where you will always have somewhere to retreat, to silence, where this can continue. So that, card number 4, people, is your reading about your lonely challenge. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 5, people. So, card number 5, people, let's turn this card and see what your lonely challenge is about. and we have realizations. So look at the little deer and the big, beautiful monster. So lovely monster, lovely creature. So your lonely challenge is really about dealing with the things that you get epiphanies about. So you'll realize something, and maybe you don't feel like you can share this with anybody else, but it's something that just basically major paradigm shift for you in the world, where it just basically changes your perspective on the world. Like if you were walking through the forest and you see this deer, and then suddenly you realize this monster is a very nice monster. Anyway, it's basically, you have these incredible epiphanies and these incredible realizations that are so profound that you don't feel like you can share them. And this is a problem because your world is changing and your world is growing and becoming more fascinating and more profound. The people around you don't seem to be on the same page as you, and you don't feel like you can share this with them. Maybe you've tried and they were still on their page and they weren't able to comprehend what you were saying. That kind of thing. Like they just want to cling to what their world is, which, who can blame them, but still, for you, it's profound. So I'm going to lay down the entire reading first, and then we're going to see where we go from there. I am mixing these, and I'm getting a lot of repeats, but in a really cool way. They're not in the same place. Well, some of them are, but it's neat. So your central issue, card number 5, people, is we have Tivaz. Tivaz is Tyr's rune. Tyr's the warrior god. And this has to do with not only questing forward, but also taking care of duties and responsibilities. I'm actually going to read this with more of the former meaning, where this is something that you are fascinated by. This draws you forward in your life. Finding these things out and just expanding your universe is so exciting for you, and it's like a quest. You are always waiting for these beautiful epiphanies to happen and these beautiful realizations that just makes your world more whole and more beautiful and more profound and more exciting and rich. And this is like your quest in life. Whether or not you can share it with anybody, this is basically your thing. Leading up to this, okay, I'm going to read this a couple ways. We have Isa, which is the rune of ice. Ice has to do with standstill and stillness. You may have felt relatively stagnant for a while until these started to happen for you. Like things may not have felt like they were moving forward, but then you realize that with every realization, things are moving forward for you. So it's really rich and profound for you. And this is something this is one of the reasons you've sort of made this your quest, is just to follow these. It's like, that's like Witch Wave saying, the follow the cosmic breadcrumbs. It's like really, really exciting. So these realizations are what is leading you forward on your quest in life. And you've left the stillness. You've left the stagnation. What is going to help you is we have Algi's reversed. Algi's is the rune of the elk, otherwise known as the moose. It has to do with protection and support, but it's reversed on the helping line. So this is basically inner. You are able to support yourself. You are able to keep yourself feeling safe and protected. And this is what helps you as you move forward. It's like, yes, you feel in a lot of ways alone in this, but you are okay with that. You are able to take care of yourself alone. You are able to stand up for yourself, and you are able to be perfectly comfortable independently. What isn't helping you at this stage, though, is we have Berkana reversed. Berkana is the rune of beginnings and birth. I guess there's this sense of you're worried about what you may be incubating as far as birthing the new you constantly. You may also look around you and see people who are choosing not to allow themselves to continually be reborn as you are. And there may be a sense or a hesitancy within yourself still to cling to this comfort zone of stagnation where you are a bit worried about these birthings that you're having, that it's like it's too much and it's too fast, and it's like you don't want to have to keep changing everything like in your world, in your mind. It may be a bit stressful. If that starts to drag you down, bring yourself back up to just reminding yourself that you are very comfortable with and very strong standing on your own and experiencing these things on your own. You're okay with that. You have this. It's so fascinating, and it brings such profundity and richness to your life that it's a joy for you. So that is where you are with that. What your next step is Ansu's reversed. Ansu's the rune of communication and manifestation. Reversed, it has to. I think Ansu's reversed has shown up in almost at least. Ansu's has definitely shown up in every reading in this session. Ansu's reversed has shown up in almost every reading, and Ansu's reversed has to do with inner communication, listening, and silence. And that's pretty much your way forward while you are watching for these epiphanies, while you're watching for these realizations, is just this, there's this fly. You may see the fly. It's flying around. Summer. Summer, the season of the fly. Anyway, back to this. So you've made it your quest to keep your eyes and ears open for these epiphanies and realizations. What is going to help you with this is, of course, standing up for yourself and just allowing yourself to have this lead you forward. Your next step is going to be listening, silence, and strong inner communication. That will keep you company as well to a certain extent. I mean, everybody needs to have somebody outside of oneself that one can trust and communicate with. But a lot of this quest is going to be inner communication, and it's going to be about listening, and it's going to be about allowing yourself the silence that is going to allow these things to come through. What is going to help you is we have Uruz reversed. Uruz is the rune of the wild ox. This has to do with strength and health. Reversed, it has to do with inner strength, inner health, but also Uruz often has to do with stubbornness, digging in and being immovable. When it's reversed, it's lifting that up. It's surrender. You are allowing these things to come to you. You have lifted up your hooves and you're surrendering to that, trusting to your inner strength, trusting to your independence and your inner strength. Fly. So this is what's going to help you, is lifting up your hooves, basically, and allowing for these things, surrendering to, if the universe wants to show me something that is going to be a great epiphany and a realization for me, that is going to make my life more rich and more profound, I am open to that. I am opening myself up to that. I am releasing my grip of my tight grip of control, and I am allowing myself to surrender to this coming in. What isn't going to help you is there is some worry about the journey ahead. Because if you are letting these epiphanies lead you, if you are letting these move you forward, there's not much that you are exerting control over. And you may feel a bit worried that this journey might lead you somewhere where you don't want to go. There may be worries that, you might want to feel like you want to wrench control back and give yourself an itinerary. Who can blame you? But that might drag you down as far as this challenge goes. This, that you want these things, these nourish and feed you and give you excitement in your life. So if this starts to happen, just remind yourself where you've been so far and how amazing these realizations are, and help yourself to lift up your hooves again and let yourself be carried forward once more. And what this is going to lead you to is a much more open sense of the world. We have the blank rune. It's like a blank page. It's like a trackless open land that you've never been in before. Everything will suddenly become new ground for you, and it's all very exciting because on that new ground, who knows what epiphanies await. So that's really exciting. Card number 5, people. That's your reading about your lonely challenge. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye.